I don't think there's anything more scary than coming back to a place that you already prepared for you and your family to spend your Christmas. You had already gone there some days before to clean the place up, put your Christmas presents under the tree, put all the Christmas lights and everything. You've prepared that place, that this is the place I want to spend my Christmas with my family. Then you come back and then find murderous strangers locked in the shadows inside the home. This is a very scary story. This is a story that is very heartbreaking. It happened in 1990 in Utah. If you are coming across my channel for the first time, my name is Linda Camara and you're on Crime Stories with Linda. Please, if you have not subscribed, just click on the subscribe button. It's free of charge. And let's take a deep dive. So on 22nd December 1990, the Tiede family, they've already gone days before to prepare their cabin in Oakley, in the mountainside of Oakley, Utah. They've gone there to prepare the cabin for their Christmas holiday. This is where they usually spend their family vacations. They like going to that mountain. It's a very calm place. They call it Tiede tranquility. So the place is just a place of calmness where they usually like go and cut off from the rest of the world to enjoy themselves. They usually go with their extended family. So that's their normal routine every Christmas. So on this particular Christmas, because nothing bad has ever happened to them there, so they don't really feel that there is any need for anything. They've already been spending their Christmas there normally. So on this particular day, or 22nd of December 1990, they were driving. They drove from their place of residence to this Oakley, and when they got there, because their cabin is like 2 kilometers from the road, they left their cars close to the road and then got on their snowmobile to be able to get into that place, because it's not motorable. They can only get there through their snowmobile. So they drove their snowmobile to that place. Kay and Ralph Tiede with their 2 children, Trisha and Lene Tiede, plus their grandmother Beth, they were all going to the cabin to spend their Christmas. But when they got to Oakley, they had to divide themselves into 2. For the first snowmobile, Lene, their grandmother Beth, and Kay were inside the first snowmobile. Then Trisha and the dad were coming with the second snowmobile. So that was how they divided themselves up to be able to get to that cabin. Then Beth, Kay and Lene were inside the first snowmobile going to the cabin. So when they got to the cabin, Lene, as a young girl that she was, she just came down. She said her hands were freezing. So she ran into the cabin to run hot water on her hands so that her hands would stop freezing. So when she got into the cabin, she said at first she just from the corner of her eye, she noticed movements close to the fridge. She felt maybe it was her cousin, because their extended family usually come to the cabin to celebrate the Christmas. So she felt that maybe their cousins, they've already arrived and they were playing pranks with her by hiding behind the fridge. So she was even smiling as she was washing her hands. And Beth and Kay came into the house carrying the things that they had to bring those things inside the house. And when they got inside the house, these 2 evil people just jumped out and held the gun to them. And at first they were shocked because they were not expecting that. Kay was actually pleading that they should take everything that they want to take and just spare their lives, that they should just take anything that they want to take and just leave them. But these 2 evil people just shot Kay and her mom dead in front of her child. They shot 2 generations in front of Lene. They just shot these 2 people dead, and they just collapsed on the floor. And that was it. They thought that maybe this is the only family coming, and as they were about because they planned to grab Lene and leave, but as they were planning to leave, Ralph and Trisha just pulled in. And once Ralph entered with Trisha, they also pointed the gun at Ralph, and Ralph even was pleading with them, take everything I had. Rolf actually brought out $105 and tried to give to them, but they were not having it. They shot Rolf and he collapsed on the floor too. So the kids were just screaming. Trisha and Linnea, they were screaming and screaming, and these two men just pulled them out of there and started pushing them close to their snowmobile. And before they even did that, they doused the house with petrol. And because the Tiede family, they usually have gas cans lying all over the house, because this is where they spend their Christmas. They keep those fuel to be able to fuel their snowmobile in case they want to go out and grab something from town. So there were a lot of gas cans there, so they use those gas can to douse petrol inside the cabin, douse petrol on Rolf, and then set the house on fire. The house was just burning, and these people, they just pulled Trisha and Linnea and put them inside the snowmobile and pointed the gun at them to drive. So as they were going, they saw their uncle Randy driving into the cabin area. So as they saw their uncle, they had to like behave as if they don't know their uncle, so that these people will not shoot their uncle, because they believe that if they had acted as if they knew their uncle, that maybe they will shoot their uncle. So their uncle was calling on them. They just behaved as if they don't know their uncle. And the man, teenage whatever, that these two people, she doesn't understand what they were doing. She thought that those guys that they were with are their boyfriends. So he just continued going back to the cabin, and when he got to the cabin, getting close to the cabin, he now saw Rolf driving. He saw someone driving close to him, and his face was all swollen with blood icicles, as in blood almost frozen on his face. As in, he says we are all swollen up, and blood was also frozen on his face. He couldn't recognize it, but getting close, he just looked at him and noticed that this is my brother. So he started waving at him to stop. So he stopped and told him the two people shot his wife and the mother in the cabin, and they shot him too, but he survived. So he's just driving to go and they were with his daughter. They had kidnapped his daughters, and they just followed him, and both of them were trying to call the police. But being the 1990 precisely, so network was not really going very well. So they kept trying and trying and trying. They called the police a couple of times, but it wasn't going through. So they had to like pull to a gas station and was able to call the police from there. And Randy had to explain to the police that they've shot his brother and he's bleeding, and they shot his sister-in-law and her mother. They were in the cabin. That these two people described the car, because they were already driving the car of the Tiede family. So that was the car that they were trying to run away with. So he described the car, and the police started tracking the thieves. So as they were tracking them, as those people were driving, they saw police vehicle coming close to them. So they were panicking. The police even had to turn their car. I don't know whether that particular police car had gotten the message. So the police just turned his car around and started chasing them. So they were trying to run away, but they just crashed the car into somewhere, and they were unable to run anymore, and they were caught. So when they were caught, the police were able to save Trisha and her sister Linnea. The police were able to send helicopters to come and lift Rolf to the hospital. So they took him to the hospital, and they were able to remove the bullets, and because they shot him in the face as they were even leaving, to make sure that he's dead, they shot him at the back of his head. So they felt that he had died. When he was taken to the hospital, they were able to remove the bullets, and luckily Rolf survived. He survived. At least that's a good news. So Trisha, her sister Lene were very much traumatized. This is a very traumatizing event. Seeing your mother and her mother shot dead, especially Lene, that witnessed this thing, was just so shocking for her. That cabin, that cabin where they had tranquility, where they had calmness, where they could all come together to celebrate Christmas. These people just try to taint that place. They try to taint the joy that they felt in that place. Thank God Rolf survived. These two evil people were taken into custody, and their names were Von Taylor and Edward Daly. These two, they've been in prison for a while, and they were released into a halfway house that is very close to that place. It was very close to the cabin. So they were staying in a halfway house that is like some minutes away from that cabin. So that was where they were staying, and they left that place to go and commit this crime. Even before they committed this crime, they had been going to different cabins around that area committing burglaries, but they were not caught until this particular one. I don't know why they decided to wait for this family, because maybe because they found out that they had already placed Christmas presents, and this meant that people were going to come. So they were waiting for them to come so that they will be able to, their main aim for doing this was even to be able to steal their car. But instead of them to wait to just maybe steal their car when they are already inside the cabin, they were waiting for them, locking inside their cabin and waiting and hoping to murder this family 3 days before Christmas. I cannot even imagine what Christmas had been for these particular people since that 1990, because it is a very traumatizing thing. They will always think back to this event, and that was what happened. They just did that. And these two people, they've been committing burglary. They went to prison for that. They were committing arson and burglary. So in this particular thing, they did burglary, they committed arson, they kidnapped, they murdered, a lot of things that they did in this particular crime that they committed. So they did a lot there. So the police were questioning them. They told the police that they've been in that house for a while. They've been staying there. They've even opened presents. They've even videoed themselves opening the presents, talking, you know. It was just a deliberate something, just two evil people. Even as Beth and Kay were begging them to take everything that they have, to leave, take everything. If they had left with even the car without killing anybody, at least it would have been, I will not be telling this story today. So, but these people, they decided to be very, very evil. They decided to be very evil. They had to kill two generations of people in front of a child. They didn't even have any pity at all. So Von Taylor was first tried in 1991, and he pleaded guilty to capital murder, attempted murder, and aggravated murder, kidnapping, burglary, and a bunch of other things that he did. So he pleaded guilty, and they were able to charge him with only capital murder, I think, and he was found guilty, and he was sentenced to 2 death sentences. They sentenced him to death 2 times. So, and that was his own trial, and the result of that trial, he was just sentenced to death twice. So for the second person, Edward Daly, he was tried. One of the jurors, they could not prove it beyond reasonable doubt to him that Daly was the one that shot those people, because according to that juror, Daly is 22 years old, Taylor is 26 years old. So they naturally believe that Daly was just following whatever Von was trying to do. They felt Edward Daly was just going along with whatever Von Taylor was doing, that he was not the main perpetrator for these crimes, that he was just following Von with whatever he's doing and doing whatever Von tells him to do, that he was not the one that actually fired those shots. So and because they were not able to come to a verdict, so they decided to charge Delhi with second degree murder because they didn't want the family to go through this. The family had already gone through the first trial for Von Taylor. They didn't want the trial to be declared as a mistrial, and the family had to come and sit down again for a second trial, a second trial for Delhi. So they didn't want that. So the court, they had to go with the second degree murder for Delhi. And for that second degree murder in Utah is life imprisonment. So he was charged with life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, while Von Taylor is on death row. So this case has always been a problem. It has always been the emblem of people fighting for the annulment of the death penalty. Those people will always use this case because in this case, these two people went to commit a crime, and one was sentenced to death and the other one was sentenced to life. Why will one get life and the other one get death? So it has always been a problem. These two people committed this crime together, and why is one giving life and the other one death? I don't know why is that, but that is the explanation. That is what I've read. What is what I saw when I researched this case. That is because of the juror. Because the juror, they are supposed to like come together, have the verdict. If they don't have they don't come with a one voice to say this is what they will find this person guilty, then most times it will lead to a mistrial and the case will have to be retried again. So that was why it happened like that for Edward. And since then, in 1996, in 1998, 2001, 2003, 2014, 2011, Von Taylor had always come out and been appealing this case. Von Taylor has always been appealing this case from that 1996 to 2014. Had been appealing this case year in, year out, and after every trial they would tell him the same thing, that he's on death row, that the verdict for that death sentence is still holding. So he kept trying and trying and trying, and I think he has given up because they still told him that, because at the end of the day he actually came out that allegedly that Delhi was the one that fired those fatal shots that killed those women. And why is he being given the life imprisonment while Vaughn was given the death sentence? So Vaughn was able to like try to bring forth those evidence, but the court continued telling him, according to the Utah law, whether you follow somebody to go and commit murder, even if you drive the car, if that is the punishment for that kind of crime in Utah is death sentence. So even if you were sleeping there, as long as both of you came together to come and commit this crime, death sentence is the death sentence. So as he's trying to appeal for this, even if he appealed for it, even if he went there without doing anything, even if he was praying as Delhi was actually firing those shots, his sentence for that is also the death penalty. As long as both of you were there committing those crimes, is death penalty. I continued pushing because to him, why is it death penalty for him, and the person that he feels that actually committed those crimes, why are they not giving him death penalty? Why is he being given life imprisonment without parole? So it has always been a problem for him and his team, his legal team. He was even saying that the legal team that defended him during the first trial, they didn't work according to what he wanted them to do. They didn't work for him as much as he wants. They didn't do what he wanted them to do for him, and that was why he continued to appeal. But his appeal was not going anywhere, and I think he has run out of appeals for now. So that is it. So they are still in prison since that 1990, 35 years later. They are still there. According to Trisha, she said that she received letters from Delhi, from the prison, apologizing to her and telling her that he's no longer that kind of, that he's no longer that evil boy that she met then, that he has changed, that he's now grown into a man, that he's no longer, he knows that he did so many bad things to her family, and that he's very, very, very sorry for that. He actually apologized. Yes, he actually apologized for all the things that he did to the Tiede, he did to the Tiede family. And according to Trisha, said she had forgiven him, and that forgiving him helped her to start healing from that trauma. And that is good for her. I love that for her. I love that she's able to like forgive him and start healing. Though I don't know how to heal from that kind of pain, I don't know, but they are strong girls. This video cannot even be complete without talking about the incredible bravery of Rolf, their father. According to Trisha, he said he is our hero, and he's a hero indeed, because driving off with that, with all those shots on his face and everywhere, everything was even doused on petrol and set on fire. He was able to drive out of there and started chasing after his girls to be able to get his girls out of those bad people's clutches. That's a very brave thing to do, and Rolf is just, it is a hero in this case. He's a very big hero. As for the Tiede family, you would think that after facing something like that, that they would just close that cabin down, leave it there. They will not even go there to sell it, leave it there and just run away from there. No, the Tiede family, they went back there, they renovated the place, made it more beautiful than the way it was, and then they continued going there to spend their Christmas, and they continued creating new and beautiful memories there. They said they don't want those people to steal that joy that they have of going to that place. They don't want that place to be known for the evil that happened there. They just wanted to create new memories there and remove all the bad memories that happened there. And I think that's a very beautiful thing to do. They kept that place and they go there every year. I like it for them. Sadly, Rolf died in 2009. He died of cancer, and the girls, they still talk about him fondly, how he's a very good dad. And that was it. That was how Christmas was ruined for this family. In fact, if those people, if you are described as the Grinch that stole Christmas, you are not far from the truth. Because what will make people go, what will make something like that happen, what will make people think of that kind of evil, I cannot even imagine it. So this was the story of the Tiede family, and hopefully they're able to heal from all this. And what do you think of the justice delivered in this case? Do you think there should be death penalty when the person that actually delivered the fatal shots is unknown? What do you think? Should there be death penalty if they don't know the person that actually fired the shots? So please let me hear your thoughts on the comment section. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like and share. Thank you very much for watching. If you like more deep dives on true crime stories, just don't forget to continue being on this channel. Have a wonderful day. Bye. Stay safe.